According to the competency profile of the Digital Online Teaching and Future Education article, revolution in learning will be adaptive and individualized to meet the needs of individual learners. This is possible because of emerging technologies in the 21st century, artificial intelligence, and the internet. This study is making significant changes, contributions to future education by identifying forces that are shaping education and developing a competency profile for the digital teacher, digital students, and future learners. According to the second article I found, communication challenges learners face online, titled Why Addressing CMC and Language Proficiency Will Not Solve Learners' Problems. The article was one of the challenges was mobile online learning today deals with native and non-native English speakers. CMC is computer mediated communication. The authors of this article argue that CMC can cause communication issues. I deal with this in my classroom with English and non-English people using the computer. The research suggested the practice is that there's effective communication with online learners between collaboration between students and their teachers or the professors, yet it's not enough to address intercultural issues such as written forms of communication. In the virtual learning environment such as the VLE, the argument was that to develop a case that the native and the non-native English speakers needed to feel comfortable with their written communication in the CMC to be successful for both groups to experience not having those challenges, trying to express themselves in the written word. And with all online learning, most of the written word is either on Blackboard or another form. So there are many of the challenges English or non-English speakers face in this classroom. Distance learners, whether they're around the world or mixed classrooms, they have to face and step up to learn to adapt to all the challenges of online learning. This is something all of us have to do. The third article that I found online was for the assessment of learning. The authors were discussing important issues for educators to consider when making their assessments and other assessments that have already been out there for learning online. These tools were four that they had in common. The four types of assessments tools included comprehensive, discussion boards, reflection-focused, and project-based learning. They said that they have open tests that include a policy that states that they cannot share answers or questions with each other. I don't know how they figure out if they have or haven't shared. That's another problem with online. You're not always sure who's sharing and not sharing. Exemplary assessments are said to be formative and summative and guide students via their educational journey. The last part of the question for our discussion board was what we personally think. Well, personally, when I think of online learning and assessments, I want to know, have my students learned? How do I gauge what they've learned? How can I tell if it's them or someone else online? I'm not sure there's an easy answer to that question. I'm still learning that, and I'm also an online learner. However, as online learning and mobile courses become more the norm every day, learning how to assess them is something that's happening. Teachers, professors, other educators, they're all collaborating online. They're sharing what's working, what's not working. It's a continuing process, and it's getting better and better every day. And also, students are getting better and better in finding ways around that. I believe in student-centered learning. I think that's a great way to see if your student is grasping and determining if they're they're getting what you're teaching them. As the instructor, you can gauge that they're self-pacing themselves. They've set themselves up to see if they've got what's going on in your course, and they're meeting their requirements. I thank you for everything, and I look forward to being part of this online movement that's continuing every day. Thank you so much.